We're admitting all attendees. Good morning. This is a hearing before the Licensing Board for the City of Boston. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. This is the board's voting meeting. As a matter of procedure, this will be reported and posted to the board's website within 24 hours pursuant to the Governor's Emergency Act amending the open meeting law. While this is a hearing open to the public, there will be no testimony accepted by the board during this hearing. And beginning with the first item, calling it Northeast Foods LLC, doing business as Burger King, number 25747, located at 892 River Street, has applied for a common vitular license to be exercised on the above 5 rooms. Kitchen is located in the back of building, no basement. Manager Shikaut Dinani, hours of operation, 6 a.m. to midnight.
I'll start. I appreciated all the testimony that we were able to hear at the meeting yesterday, and I know we've gotten a lot of written testimony as well. But back to how the board determines granting or not granting a CV license, we look at whether doing so is, in our opinion, in the interest of the public good and the public convenience. While public sentiment is one of the factors considered by the board, it's not the only factor. We take into consideration the nature of the proposed operation, the number of similar operations in the immediate vicinity, traffic, litter, and other ancillary factors at the board's discretion. We evaluate these applications on their individual merits. The application at hand, the closest similarly situated CV licenses that I could find, there was a Pizza Hut, a Dunkin' Donuts, a Papagino's, a Subway, and I think a fried chicken place, but they were all about 1 mile away. I didn't see anything closer that was similar to this vicinity. So taking a look at the testimony that we heard in person, the written testimony, both in support and opposition, and based on the totality of the circumstances, I find that granting of the CV license to this applicant will not negatively impact the public good, and that the granting of the license would actually be in the interest of the public's convenience based on the factors I previously mentioned, especially the lack of similarly existing options in the immediate vicinity. So given all of that, I vote to grant the requested CV license.
I was actually persuaded by the testimony about the school being across the street, and just in my own personal experience, I know that there's a McDonald's that's right across the street from another school that I'm familiar with, and I just know that all the kids just go there, and I think it's just a natural kind of magnet for these kids, and so I can't vote in favor.
So Kiana, you're voting to oppose, to deny?
Yeah.
So I evaluated all the factors, and I have to go back to a similar argument that we got with the Popeyes proposed on Washington Street. And in this case, I have to agree with the chair that I don't feel that we have the necessary level of saturation. I think that the factor of it being unhealthy is very clear. I'm on record as being on board as that being a major factor, but I'm also been on record as saying that I need the combination of factors. We have the opposition. We have, basically what is generally accepted as an unhealthy food outlet, but we just don't have the saturation. It's not like the Washington Street corridor there where there's establishment after establishment on the block, 2-3 blocks all stacked up against each other. I found the same thing in evaluating what's around. It's more like a mile away in kind of a circle. In a city like ours, a mile is not very close. It's not, Los Angeles where a mile is a hop, skip, and a jump. This is more spread out. I did have some reservations about the schools being there. But I don't know if that's really our purview to start saying that fast food restaurants can't be near schools, that it's necessarily negative. I mean, I I think if we're not very careful with these factors, we're getting pretty close to like running the risk of saying like all fast food restaurants should be denied because they're unhealthy. And I understand that certain neighborhoods don't want to be put upon, and I only feel like we're putting upon them if we're putting one on top of the other on top of the other. And in this situation, I just don't feel like that's the case. So I reluctantly, because I sympathize with the argument that it's essentially an attractive nuisance for younger people, and it's not my favorite business model. But when it comes down to it, I have to evaluate, setting aside kind of my personal feelings about fast food and their business practices, and being consistent in how I evaluated a very recent issue. I don't think I got there, so I have to say I'm for it.
So the board votes 2-1 to grant the common victualler license. Commissioner Saxon dissenting. Moving to the second item, Big House Fine Dining LLC, doing business as Scampo and Alibi, located at 215 Charles Street. Holder of a common victualler 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business to amend the outdoor patio from seasonal to annual.
I vote to approve the change in the status of that outdoor patio. Approved. Yeah.
I agree.
Board votes to grant the change to this licensee. Item 3, Nicholas Chen Sound LLC, doing business as Tavern of Tales, located at 1478 to 1484 Tremont Street. Holder of a restricted common victualler 7-day wine and malt beverages with liqueurs license has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business to include a seasonal outdoor patio April through November on private property with seating for 24 patrons.
I'm going to vote to approve that.
I agree.
Agreed.
Petition is granted, and those are the only items before the board today. The board will meet again this coming Wednesday, May 30th, virtually for additional transactional items. Thank you very much.
Guys.